All right,
We are
man.
live, Mike.
Sweet. Looks like we're live.
Good morning to you.
Good morning as well. Welcome
We got
everybody. We do a soft launch here. We start a little bit early just to say hi to everybody and kind of check where people are coming in from. Looks like we got a ton of people here already. Jim, welcome. And it's all right to be too early. You know what? I in the military they always told me if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
You're late.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, then everyone here is late, I guess, because it was just a few minutes before the half hour.
Welcome, Carlos. Great to have you here. Nev
Joseph.
Wayne, welcome from the UK. Awesome.
We got Ted said waiting in Minnesota. I'm in Minneapolis. Curious where you're
Sweet.
at,
You
Ted.
guys are all snow. Are you still got all that ton of snow up there, man?
Oh yeah, I had to move. I worked out this morning before hopped on here and had to move my car as well. And it took me like 20 minutes just to get my car out of the snowbank because it's just there's probably like 2 feet of snow, like and the snowplows are making it more intense, So
When you live in Minnesota, did you just have like spare snow shovels in your back pocket, like
Dude.
your cargo pocket? You're like, oh, hey, look, 2 minutes passed. Let me
like a keychain shovel that I can just like take off my. No, I should. I actually don't have a shovel, but thankfully my apartment complex like put one next to the door.
Oh, okay, that's nice. I see you out there with your hands, like trying to move it with the glove. Yeah, and you're wearing sandals.
I actually have the, like the scraper that has a little shovel at the bottom. So I was actually just using that, just like digging out with the shovel.
Oh,
which
man.
is a little silly, but.
Oh, man, we got a ton of people coming in. This is awesome. Jezza, welcome from the UK. Don, welcome from Oregon. Charles, welcome from London, England. Awesome.
Eric, Bruce, PLC professor, Steve. What's KJ6BNA?
That is his call sign for he is
the radio?
I'm guessing, yeah, into amateur radio, he's a ham, and so that's his call sign.
We were talking about that. Okay.
Yeah, you get a call sign sent to you, or assigned to you rather.
John from Sydney, welcome.
Sweet.
Judson from New Hampshire.
For some reason I thought Charles was from Australia. Why did I think that? I don't know. Robert. I think that's Charles. Anyway, maybe he's traveling. Who knows?
Florida, 78 degrees. I could use a little vacation down there.
Yeah, no.
You go to Florida once in a while, Mike? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Florida, man. It's like I was thinking the other day too. I love Texas. I love Florida. I love Texas, man.
Yeah.
If I ever relocate, I'm in Ohio now, but if I relocate
somewhere warm,
Texas or Florida, or I don't know, somewhere warm. Judson from New Hampshire, welcome. Arthur from Liney. Artie from Liney. I should know where Liney is. What is? Sweet, we got some more call signs coming in. Jim is
go.
So
I don't know what we're talking about. What the call sign is? That like almost like a signature, like a name if you're
it's like a handle, but I think it's like a government registration number. Like, hey, what's your, so like an aircraft is gonna have a call sign.
I was just gonna make one up for me, but that's not how it works. You gotta
you gotta go through the process.
Okay. Too bad.
No.
Darn.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Eric, welcome. Steve. All right. I guess are we at that time? We're at that time. 10:30 official start time of the show. We always like to start a little early. Welcome everybody. It's great to have so many people tuning in. This is just a blast. If you don't know me, my name is Mike Chach. I'm the owner of Programming Electronics Academy. We are an online education company that helps to we're trying to help people build confidence to program things with Arduino. It's kind of like the goal of what we're after. I'm an Arduino programming enthusiast, and I am here with our video producer, Josh Gilbert. Hey, Josh.
Hey, y'all. I am a video person primarily, but slowly learning Arduino. So I get to ask kind of the simple questions that I get all the time because I'm learning this world. So glad to be here.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the dynamic we got going on here. We're just talking like about Arduino stuff. We welcome anybody to ask questions in the chat. This is just kind of like a open conversation, hanging out kind of thing. If the questions get too technical, we might I can't hardly add 2 + 2 when I'm, having to think on my feet. So we'll try to point people in the right direction perhaps, but if it gets too technical, probably I don't know, not necessarily dodge it. I'll be like,
I was actually listening to the first episode. So we actually started putting all of these on our podcast feed. So for anyone who maybe has a drive and wouldn't be able to watch it or just wants to have it on while they're doing dishes or something, this and anyone tuning into the podcast, hello. And we're trying to make this audio enough, even if, we're sharing a lot of visuals. But yeah, if you haven't heard of the podcast, you can just go to Programming Electronics Academy podcast, and you'll find this feed here, or you can listen later. I was going to say, I was listening to the first episode today and realizing that, like, the first episode, we set this up and kind of explained what the show is. And you do that a little bit, Mike. But the idea is that there's so much in this world of programming, electronics, and Arduino specifically, that we want to have a show where we just hop on and answer a lot of those questions. And me being pretty inexperienced, I have a lot of them. And we're just trying to have a low, like a easy barrier to entry, conversation about the world of electronics. And it's just been really fun to hop on the last couple of weeks, and excited to keep doing it.
No, that's cool. Yeah. And hey, man, the podcast is like, it's on Apple Podcast, but it's on probably somewhere other places too. I'm guessing like Spotify or wherever.
Yeah. Google Podcast, Spotify.
Okay. So like any place you listen to podcasts, you could probably just search for Arduino and it'll pop up or something. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And right. Yeah, I was wondering if the show would be hard to listen to without seeing, but it turned out like we talk enough that there's enough things said that it's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I was listening to a podcast yesterday and they were talking about origami. Okay. So imagine listening to a podcast talking about origami. That was a little challenging, but hey, I mean, it was,
Did they pull it off?
Well, it was only a short segment, semi pulled off.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Cool. Still got a bunch of folks tuning in. This is so much fun. Simon, welcome from the UK. Ian calling in. Keith from New Jersey. Yes. Bart Manport, Michigan land. All right. Surrounded by waters. All right. Skeeve, awesome. Texas. All right. Muhammad, welcome. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, a person from Rochester, New York. Awesome. Welcome. Doctor in the Valley. Nice. Long Island, New York. That's what Liney was. Remember when I said Liney? I wasn't sure what that was. That's Long Island, New York. Now, Artie, I am now read into it. Now I know what that means. All right. Sweet. Did you know what that was, Josh, or no? L-I-N-Y?
No. I don't know if that was a typo or something.
Okay. No, I love that, man. I'm learning stuff. Sweet.
We got my buddy Carl here from Lake Elmo, Minnesota, a place I'm at often.
Cool. So, welcome, Carl.
What's up, Carl?
Alexis from Puerto Rico. Sweet. I'm going to Puerto Rico. I cannot wait. That'll be a month. Yeah, that'll be fun. Never been there before, so that'll be cool.
-15 in Minnesota.
Wow.
Yikes. Yeah, it felt like that when I was outside this morning.
Cool.
Yeah, man. We got some people are looking for beginner projects. Doctor in the Valley.
Oh, that's cool. I tell you what, one fun beginner project is that I think I've seen quite a few people try. I would call it semi-beginner project because there are some things you got to figure out. Well, okay. Let me qualify beginner project. I would say beginner project is one where there's like a lot of examples you could follow online.
Okay.
That would be so even some beginner projects might be semi-complex, but if you have some good examples to follow, you can kind of like work through it regardless. So
yeah.
One is like called a useless box or a useless machine.
Yeah.
Again, totally useless, but I think Doctor in the Valley mentioned just like looking for something fun. Yeah. There's all different types of iterations of useless boxes. And there's that servo bear one. Why don't you just like open it up real quick? I'm sure people have probably seen these. I actually hadn't seen one, but basically a useless box is like a box that has a switch on it. And when you flip the switch, a servo opens up the top and then it turns the switch off and then it goes back in. In this example, he's got it. He went above and beyond with this bear. So it's like a bear comes out and touches it, but it doesn't have to be like a stuffed animal. It could just be a little arm that comes out and closes it. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't realize. So the bear's actually activated. Like he turns it on and then the bear turns it off.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it does nothing. Great. It's just a silly little thing. You know what I'm saying? It's completely useless. That's right. Given the name. But so, you're working with servos, which is kind of fun to play with because motors, stuff that moves is always fun. And, it is definitely not has no utility, but hey,
right. Well, I mean, a lot of this world is just like exploring making it. It's like Legos in the sense where like I loved making the thing, but once I have it made, it's like, okay, well, it's really just the process that I enjoyed. right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's an interesting. No, I hear you. Sometimes I'm a little torn there because I definitely like, I don't know, application specific stuff.
okay,
I like working on something that has an end goal. I don't know. But
yeah,
no, I hear you though, because the journey is a lot of the fun. I don't know. And I feel like a lot of people, I feel like one of the awesome reasons to use Arduino is to learn programming. Just like if you don't know how to program and you want to program, maybe you've tried other languages like, like, and maybe you just get bored or something like that. What's cool
yeah,
about Arduino is like you can build some cool, interesting stuff that you can like hold on to in like real life,
yep,
and so it makes it a little more interesting. So if part of the issue is like trying to keep your attention or like, everything's always fighting for time. So
yeah.
I don't know. To me, that's one of the major bonuses of,
Yeah, I
it.
guess the idea a useless box is pretty funny because you're spending all your time on something that is useless. Jezza said to check out on the PEA website a useless box that they made. So I'm curious. Do you know what one that
Yeah,
would
I
be?
don't know. I think we have Jez's posted somewhere. I wouldn't know. Jez, I don't know where it is posted off the top of my head, but he posted it. I know he posted it in our forum, and
Okay.
other people have used it as like an example to kind of like build their own.
Yeah.
And it is more of like um, like, what's the word I want? Uh, it doesn't have the bear. It's got like just everything you just need. You know what I mean? It's got like the arm coming out. So it's like a stripped down version. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's got a box, like an enclosure, and then an arm comes out, a wooden arm, and then, but
Yep.
it's kind of like, it's more of like the quintessential, I would say Genesis, I feel like is more like the quintessential useless box that I've kind of seen. So,
Totally.
but,
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think here's a good question you might be able to answer. Carl asks, "What resources do you find best for purchasing components for projects? I'm looking for stepper motor controllers and hope not to waste time, money with products that won't work for my
yeah,
application."
Carl, that is such a great question because I feel like, I'm like, well, I'm not a good person to ask because, I sort of have a budget for buying stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that can be dangerous because you don't want to just, sometimes I feel like it's not until after you've bought something that you realize it didn't work.
Sure.
Case in point, I went to my local Goodwill. I'm working on this. I mentioned I'm working on that ChatGPT Twino project.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody hasn't heard me talk. I feel like I've been talking about it forever now, but I've got it. Maybe I don't know if I'll try to show it off here in a little bit, but I've got it working like 90%. Like it's doing everything right. I just have to figure out how to. I've just got to take the time to like code the text that comes in. Anyway,
Yeah.
I had to use a keyboard. I had to interface a keyboard with an Arduino. So here's a keyboard right here. This is the one I'm actually using for the project that I had to interface with it. Okay. So I was looking online and I was looking online too optimistically. Darn it, my head, I was too optimistic. And I'm reading like through, okay, how do you connect a keyboard? And I came across a couple posts that said, yeah, you pretty much use like any USB keyboard. Most of them will be compatible with this
Yeah.
one library. It's like this PS2 library for
Okay.
for reading and keyboard stuff. So some of the posts said, oh yeah, any keyboard will work. Other ones said, no, you don't know. Anyway, so I tried like the keyboards I had at my house. They didn't work. And I'm like, oh, okay, that stinks. So then I went to Goodwill and I bought 6 keyboards
Okay.
because they were just cheap. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
none of those worked either.
Oh,
So I'm
really?
like, yeah. So then I realized, like, I realized. So the reason I'm talking about this is that, like, basically, I went and wasted a bunch of money on keyboards, and what I should have done in the first place is gotten really clear about exactly what it was I needed.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And sometimes that's a little bit hard. You know what I mean? I guess what I'm saying is, it's not necessarily where you buy the components because so one great place to buy, there's several different places you can go to buy. There's lots of good places to buy components specifically for Arduino
Yeah.
online. Adafruit is a very common place to buy stuff. So adafruit.com or sparkfun.com. They sell like stuff in this world. Like if you're into Arduino or Raspberry Pi or making stuff, like they serve that like community. Then there's like more electronic supplier type companies where like if you're working for you don't have to be working for a company to use them, but there's a place there's like DigiKey. So yeah, DIGIKEY, DigiKey. And then there's Mauser, there's Newark, and those are more like electronic suppliers. So you can buy components from there, but it's a lot more, yeah. So it's a lot more like, you're going to find tons of components. It's more of kind of a professional place where you would buy components perhaps in bulk for specific, like actual consumer devices. But like you can buy stuff from Adafruit, sells stuff on DigiKey. So you can buy stuff from Adafruit on DigiKey. But so the thing really isn't like where to buy it necessarily, because when you're talking about, you don't want to waste money. Oh, and then another spot is just Amazon. Amazon has tons of like stepper motors, all that type of stuff. So there's lots of places you can go to buy.
What is that called? How do you spell that, Mike?
DigiKey.
No, I'm making a joke about Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Oh yeah. It's.
You mean the place that sells everything
Dude,
ever?
I'm dense, man. I'm like, no, I didn't even get that joke. I'm so lame,
That's
dude.
So good. What's funny is Carl, we live like 25 minutes from each other. There's this place that we've been to that has it's like, I think it's called Axeman. It's in Minnesota, and it has like just a million random things, right? Like boxes of like every size bolt. And then like I was there the other day, and they just had I think they had a bunch of Adafruit boards, and there was a sign that basically was explaining that like this has become more popular, so the price is going up. So like, you may have seen like these boards before, but now that we know what they actually do, we're going to start actually raising the price because people are like, oh, this is valuable, I can just buy a bunch of them for bulk.
Oh man, bulk, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, what's cool though is like finding a local place, like where you can finding a local place where somebody else has expertise can be tough. That can be really hard. Like, but let's see. But there's tons of places. But yeah. So like somebody's mentioning like Radio Shack. Like I've been a little confused about Radio Shack. I thought that they completely went out of business. Like that's what I thought. But then there's a Radio Shack like in our local mall. So I don't know if they just went anyway. Okay. So I want to go back to that question though, is like, you want to buy stuff, but you don't want to waste money. Like I would say if that's the case, what you really want to do is work extra hard at actually figuring out what you need. So that's what I would do. So I would read up on what it is you think you want to buy. Let your brain rest before you make any purchase decisions, and then try to read some other stuff on that specific thing. Just because like I run into this problem a lot. I don't clearly enough spec out something I need. So like spec out like specifications, right? So like, let's say you're getting a stepper motor and like there's certain specifications you want, like, the voltage it needs to run on or the current it's going to draw, like all those limits, like you want to be clear on that before you order it to make sure that it's going to work, it's going to fit your application. And that can be, sometimes you just due to like, for me, it happens a lot is like, I just don't know ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I'll make these like kind of assumptions in my head, like, oh yeah, probably this. Again, my little optimistic head,
Totally.
And then I'll get it. I'll be like, oh no, it's not just that easy, or no, oh, it won't just work, or, whatever. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then Carl was saying also not wanting to waste time. But I think what you're saying is there's a way to just like invest short amounts of time in something, like kind of give your brain some space to kind of process it, come back to it, and then make a decision. Or you can go to a thrift store and buy 6 things and then realize none of them work for you.
I know. Well, what's funny too is I'm just going to donate them back to Goodwill. So
that's funny,
like helping the local community, I guess. But yeah, well, another Keith brought up something, buy an Arduino startup kit that has stepper motors. I like that too. Like that's a great idea, because then if it's going to be in a kit, an Arduino kit, then like, hey, these are going to work okay with an Arduino. Like that's a great idea.
I was going to say, I've been seeing ads for Arduino on like Instagram and stuff where they have these, like, I think they're pretty pricey, like something in the $70 to $100 range for like a full kit. I think it has like a, what's like the meter reading for we did it with a Wi-Fi probe. It's like a meterometer or something. It's
temperature sensor.
No, sorry, it's testing the resistance. It's like a way to check the voltage. What is that called? Like the it's almost like a calculator with a little knob on it.
You talking about the ohm meter?
Ohm meter.
Yeah.
Yes, like I've seen ads where they're like, here's, Arduino Uno, an ohm meter, and then like a bunch of stuff. But I don't know. I've thought about doing that for like $100 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting with kits. Like, there's all different type of kits you can buy.
Yeah.
I have bought several kits. I don't go through all the kits that I buy. Sometimes I'll just buy them for like extra components. There's a bunch. There's like some Elegu kits on Amazon that are really popular, mostly because they're like super cheap. Um, and
Yeah.
But Arduino definitely offers some kits too. Part of like
Yeah.
part of the thing with kits is like making sure that you have something you can kind of follow along with can be helpful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can be kind of nice. But hey, Josh, I want to jump around here for a second.
Yeah.
You mentioned the prosthesis thing,
Oh
and
yeah.
somebody in the comments actually asked about that, and I thought, hey, that might be a good.
The open source.
Did you see that? Somebody
The
mentioned about, hey, how would I start a prosthetic using Arduino? Chris, it was Chris. Can I post that? Let me see if
yeah. Fine. If you can find
there we
that.
go. Chris Hemsworth. How would I start a prosthetic? Because
Wow.
this is so crazy, Chris. Because before this call, me and Josh were just talking about this, man. So how cool. Obviously, Josh, you're not the only Josh who brought it up to me, but do you want to share that one channel
Yeah.
you were talking about? Like, this is
Totally.
this is a great question, what you're asking about. And
Yeah.
maybe you can even put the link to this channel.
I can do that.
And maybe we can throw this link in the show notes too, if people want to check out this channel. But, and I haven't checked out this channel. Josh has, but it's basically a gentleman or a group of folks who are trying to do a bunch of open source designs for prosthetics.
Yep.
So that if people need stuff, then they can make it,
Yeah.
which is
Actually,
pretty sweet.
I know. Yeah. I just learned about this channel this morning. One of my buddies was talking about it. Because open source can just be so cool. But yeah, look at that. So I think what he's
Was it
trying to
Chris?
do.
Was Chris your buddy talking about it, and that's why he posted it?
Yeah, this is all a con for you, Mike. We got you good. No, one of Carl and I's friends, Ezra, was over, and he was just talking about this open source prosthetic. So his name is Will Cogley, I think, and this channel I think is dedicated to open source prosthetics. Because it's I get kind of passionate about this because I'm sure that this sort of thing could be so expensive because it's something that I'm sure people that need it will pay kind of whatever amount for. It's kind of like insulin, right? Like they can up the price of that, and it's like unfortunate. But the fact that maybe there's a world where like this stuff can be accessible, and if you're willing to put in like the time to build this stuff on your own, you can find a way more affordable. I mean, it looks like all this like this 3D design stuff is online.
Wow, that
too.
is impressive.
So yeah, I'll just put a link to this guy's page in the chat.
Cool.
But
well, hopefully that's a lead, Chris. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to it. A lot of like, this is totally semi-unrelated and probably pretty stupid. But what was it? I was thinking the other day about robots because who doesn't like to think about robots? Robots are cool as all get out.
Absolutely.
And who doesn't want to like? I was thinking about PCs came along and they like took like PCs came along. They had these huge computers, took up rooms, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually like we get a PC, right? And then it's like a PC is like this general purpose machine, right? So I feel like we're all waiting for the general purpose robot, You know what I mean? That is like really smart and can like do stuff. But, I was thinking like, and then I was thinking about ChatGPT. It's kind of like it's more of a general purpose algorithm. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of ask it any question and it can come back with something. It might not be perfect. Obviously, everybody knows it's not necessarily always right or can be misled or whatever, but it's still pretty impressive, right? So I was like, okay, well, that's cool. But then I was thinking like, I wonder what's potentially really holding up a lot of like the personal robot stuff is like the mechanics of it, like you know what I mean? Like the actual physical design of the robot to make things move easily and like, and I wonder if like one of the discoveries that will push like getting the personal robot into our house is going to be like, I don't know, discoveries around like ways of making joints move in interesting ways with robots so that they can manipulate things really easily. And you know what I mean? Like maybe what we see in the house looks totally different than kind of like the humanoid-ish, or, you know, what do you call that Jetsons robot lady? What was that
right
movie?
Yeah, because when you say the word robot, we picture like a human figure with like human arms, probably two, you know, but that could be limiting what the actual the utility of like a robot in the future. Yeah, it could be just like a box that rolls around and then like things pop out of, you know, whatever.
Right.
But
have you seen that it's a really popular Disney, I think it's a Disney movie, maybe it's Pixar, something Maker 6? Why can't I now? I can't think about it. I'm not.
I was gonna
Y- y-
no, not Ready Player One. That's
no.
what is it?
Oh,
Big
you know,
Hero
it's, you know
6.
what I'm
Big
talking
Hero
about though.
6.
It's the
Big Hero
air
6.
robot, right?
Yeah, Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6. There we go. I think I had 6 right there. That, you know what I mean? Like that's such a fun, interesting design there, you know.
Yeah,
There we
just
go.
like
Big Hero 6. Yeah.
this.
If you have not seen that movie, it's such a good movie, man. I love it. I love their future casting of like what they take like San Francisco and Tokyo and they mash them together up in their world. It
Oh,
was really
really?
fun. But yeah,
Dude,
that's like the whole landscape. That was I think it's San Fran Tokyo or something is what they call it in the movie.
no way. I
Anyway.
didn't. I've seen it once. I didn't realize they do that. I love like endless possibilities with animation. Yeah, this is basically, for those listening, just like a big marshmallow robot. It just looks like a big, you know, giant white snowman that's also, you know, mechanic or whatever.
Yeah, I love that movie because it's all about making stuff too. That's straight up. I feel like that was made for
Maybe we should get
everybody in our audience. You know what I
we should
mean?
get them to sponsor our show, Mike. Big Hero
Oh
6
yeah.
sponsors PEA.
No, totally, dude.
We were in to respond kind of to what you're saying about ChatGPT. We don't have to get into this whole discussion, but a question I did have for you is, in some ways, I feel like ChatGPT could be like the new calculator for writing. And a lot of people, there's a lot of conversation around, is it really unhelpful for kids to have this in school? Teachers are worried. You know, we've explored like writing scripts for the show. We did like an end, a conclusion with ChatGPT, and it like was like, thanks for joining the show. And it's like, honestly, just like a great little conclusion.
right.
I want to be progressive about it in like a thought way and think that, you know, education and learning and AI and all this stuff is progressing so fast that it seems important to teach kids even how to interact with these things. Like you kind of have to learn what things to prompt ChatGPT. Like I needed it to solve a data table for me. I needed to do like the sum of a bunch of numbers, but it was kind of scrambled. And it took me like 10 minutes to figure out which words, like basically how do I get ChatGPT to know what I'm asking it, right? So I have to like learn how to dialogue with the AI. I feel like that idea is going to be really important for kids to learn in a world that's going to be increasingly more AI centered, right? Like
Yeah, no, I think that's, yeah, no, that's interesting. I love the idea of thinking, what is it, like a text calculator? That's a fun idea to think about. I like the text calculator. I guess I would say that to me, the fact that you have to work really hard for prompt engineering, you know, they call that prompt engineering, like how you ask the thing a question.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe a bug, and hopefully that will get worked out in the future so that it will be able to intuit more like what you're really trying to ask.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, perhaps, maybe, I don't know though. Like if you like, sometimes I feel like sometimes we're asking these things too much. Like I won't give them enough context.
Yeah.
And I expect them to kind of like read my mind a little bit about what I'm trying to do. And the same thing would happen with like a human. If I don't give them any context around my question, then it's like the response is going to be somewhat limited, you know? So,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah.
Well, no, totally. And this, Robert's getting at it right here. He says kids need to use ChatGPT at home to research a topic, but then write their assignments / essays at school, flipping current practice and education. I think I understand. If I understand what he's saying, I think that's what I'm trying to get at, that like the future of education and learning and like, I don't know how much time, and this is maybe like controversial, but I don't know how much time we want kids to sit with like a blank cursor thinking of like how to start a sentence. Whereas like we want to populate ideas in the brain and get kids like creative and thinking about like the meat of an argument. And then ChatGPT can be kind of like the structure of it. And they can, I don't know. I also am not the best at writing, so I feel like it's a tool that I really want to use.
Yes.
know?
The truth comes out. So
Yeah.
you want to cheat on your
I just don't want to have to do any work. Just lazy.
Well, it's a good question whether or not it's cheating. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like I don't have any good opinions on it yet, but I totally hear what you're saying. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like once people okay, so I do know my multiplication table. You know what I mean? Probably up to like single digit numbers. 12 times 12 is like 144, right? I think, pretty sure. Okay, so I know those and like I understand the concept behind multiplication. I understand some of the multiplicative laws, I think, like 6 times 7 is the same as 7 times 6, like that kind of like basic idea, right? There's a word for that property. I don't know what that word anyway. Like, okay, so I understand that. So I feel like once I understand that, then I feel like using the calculator makes a lot of sense. And it's funny that we bring this up because here's my calculator right here. And here's my and I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, man. Josh,
show it off. Show it
I'm
off,
such a
Mike.
dork, but man, I love my calculator. Here it is right here. There's nothing special about it. It's just a TI-30. My kids make random messages on the back. Look at that. Like, what does that mean?
Cat, dog.
I have no idea. My kids stuck, they print off some stickering.
That's your radio, your ham call at the bottom or something?
Yeah. No, that's my bank account. No, no. But like, I love my calculator, man. I use it all the time. And it's super handy. And it's like, you know what I mean? So I feel like, okay, well, what if I can write a sentence? I understand like how words come together. I understand like what it means to form a correct sentence. Yeah. Could I then just, could ChatGPT be my calculator there? You know what I mean? I guess what ChatGPT 2 is doing though is it's very quickly doing more than I would know. You know what I mean? So it's doing things that I don't know. And then I guess I would say like that's good. But if I'm in a learning environment, I almost feel like that's maybe too far, but I don't, you know what I mean? Cause like the idea is like, we want to teach those fundamental, I don't know, at least that's my mind. Yeah. And I could totally see people seeing it the other way. Like, I don't know, I'm a little torn, but I would say like, you want to learn before you outsource the task, or at least the task of writing, you want to know how to write clearly and well, and then maybe you let ChatGPT do it. I don't know, but I'm a horrible speller, but
No, I mean, me too. And that's why I use Grammarly, and it saves me most of the time. Sometimes videos get out there without the correct spelling. But to me, my friend was mentioning it's really about critical thinking. Like, is that the value that we're trying to teach kids? Is like learning about how to think critically. And my question is a blank cursor on a page when you're trying to write an essay, is that the most ideal circumstance to teach critical thinking? Because I feel like there's just a lot of ways to be like creative about teaching kids to problem solve and think through issues. I don't know if essay writing and perfect syntax and grammar is like the best way to teach that skill, to develop that skill. I don't know though.
No, yeah. No, I hear you. I guess it matters what you're teaching. Like if you're teaching critical thinking, then I mean, that's which is just like a very universal and important skill, which is something, yeah, I feel like it could apply anywhere. Critical thinking could be applied in any of the anywhere somebody's learning in school, but I don't know.
Yeah. Someone said, "Are we going dumb?" That's the worry for sure. I heard someone talking about on a podcast this week how ChatGPT, the current version we're using, I believe is like 2 to 3 years old. That's what it's like learned on, and they're constantly developing new ones. So it's just coming to like market or whatever now. It's like available for us, but there's like it's going to be advancing so quickly, and they're already developing like the next generation of it, and who knows where this is going to go. Like what you were saying about it not being able to interpret the prompt, not being able to like intuit context. I think that the future of AI is that it gets better and better at establishing context and kind of being able to communicate in an abstract way. I feel like that's when things will really start to get weird and scary, but
it's gonna get dicey,
exciting.
man. What are we gonna do? I don't know.
Right.
That's why you got to be nice to the robots. That's why you should always use please when talking to ChatGPT. That way, when the robot overlords take over, you'll be in a good spot.
Oh, amazing.
What did let's see. So we've talked about ChatGPT. Hey, I want to do what did I want to Oh, hey, speaking about ChatGPT. All right. Well, okay, I was talking about ChatGPT Twino,
Yeah.
that project I'm working on. All right, so let me just explain it real quick, what the idea is. Okay, so ChatGPT, super powerful, awesome AI in the cloud that everybody's talking about. Not like, okay, it makes mistakes. I'm not saying that it doesn't make mistakes, but it's really powerful. And it has lots of resources behind it. Huge, big thing, right?
Yeah.
Arduino, tiny little, small little microcontroller, right? How can we get big, awesome ChatGPT, and how can we, as like just average person, you integrate ChatGPT into our projects, right? Like that's what I want to do. Okay,
Totally.
It's not as hard as it might first seem. Okay, because what's cool about OpenAI is the name of the organization that developed ChatGPT. They have an API, application programming interface, for using all of their different models. And when I say model, so like ChatGPT they call it a model. They have different models though, right? So they have an API for accessing those models. All right. So what you can do, and so this is what my plan is, and I'm like 90% there. I don't know if I can really I'll try to show it off here, but you get an Wi-Fi enabled Arduino, okay, or Arduino-esque thing. So I'm using an ESP32. I'm sorry, yeah, an ESP32. You could use like an ESP8266, right? And so then what you do is you give a message to the Arduino board, either like by a keyboard. That's what I'm using, just typing it on a keyboard. It sends that text via the API to the cloud, to the API, and then the API returns the response, and then you take that response and you like either show it on a screen or you do whatever you want with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to show this off. Josh and I were talking. I need to get another camera so I can like figure this out. But all right, so here's my old school. Remember, I said I bought a bunch of keyboards. Well, this one,
nostalgic. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's whoever used this thing was a smoker, hardcore smoker. There are burns all over it, man. Like, I don't know. The dude must have been, who knows? He's like,
yeah,
using like an ashtray or something,
or just a lot of smoke tests, maybe a lot of.
Maybe a lot of. Yeah, there we go. But anyway, this thing's like heavy. Like my arms are already tired. Anyway, I've got this on eBay because it was said specifically it is a PS2, old school PS2 keyboard. All right, so that's this. So I type on this, and this is connected to. So it's got an old PS2 PS/2 cable. So that's like if you just remember plugging in your keyboard, old school keyboard and mice to computers, I think it's a 6-prong connection. They don't use them anymore. Really, they're not very. I'm sure they're used some places, but anyway. So I've got that hooked into an adapter that goes from PS2 to USB. So nothing special there. And here I'm going to try to show this off right here. Okay.
Is that the? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're seeing it.
All right. Okay. So there we go. Okay. So here we go. So this right here is the keyboard coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
So this green thing is the USB to PS2 adapter. It was just easier. I could have stripped the wires on the PS2 or whatever, and then just wired them in directly. You don't need a USB adapter, but anyway. Okay. So now you can see and then this OLED, the middle, the screen right here is the OLED. The top is the question that you type in. So I just said like, what is an Apple, right?
Yep.
And then the device on the left here is an ESP32. It is connected to the Wi-Fi. So this cord right here, the cord is just for power. It's not like, connecting to my computer via the internet. The internet connection is coming via a wireless connection on this board.
Is that just like USB-C or Thunderbolt? I can't quite tell. The orange cable?
I think that's USB-C.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an Adafruit. This board, oh, actually, no. This board right here is an ESP32 made by Unexpected Maker. Unexpected Maker, you can buy them on Adafruit. It's like an ESP Feather on Adafruit, ESP32 Feather. Okay. What I like about these ones is they have this little power port, so you can power it with a lithium battery, which is great. Anyway, okay, so let's see if we can zoom this in. I'm going to try to type. So I'm holding this. Can you see that? All right, so I'm going to type in, I'll just say R. Can you see that?
Yep, perfect.
You alive. I don't know. Why not? That's kind of fun. Are you alive? All right. And then I'm going to press enter. And so now what's happening is it went out. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
So it went out. It made a call to the API, and then it returns.
Wow. So that's the answer from ChatGPT?
Well, okay. So let me qualify this. So this is an answer from a model named Da Vinci.
Okay.
And because so it's on OpenAI, right? So OpenAI makes ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like a model that is
it's like using Da Vinci in like a chat way. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's okay. So it is a model like ChatGPT, but it is not ChatGPT. It's actually called their completions model. They have several different completions model, but it's doing the same thing ChatGPT does. They just don't have an API publicly available yet for ChatGPT. But basically, it's going to be like a one-word change in this program. So once ChatGPT does come live, you just stick it in there and like. Okay. So this is the completions API, though. It's still really powerful. Like it can answer questions and do all types of stuff. It's like I would call it like ChatGPT Lite right now. Is what I would call it, right?
Dude, that's anyway. So cool. For people just listening, Mike typed in "Am I alive?" or "Are you alive?" and it said, "Yes, I'm alive." Just like right on your breadboard.
ChatGPT would never say that, but it's a little smarter than that, I think, or it's kind of. But anyway, it's really easy to. It was really actually I shouldn't say it was really easy to do. I would say because it took a couple things, but I would say the easy part was talking to the API. Like that wasn't that hard. You just make you make a call to their. To a URL essentially. Yeah. So you get a URL and then you have to sign up to be a developer on the OpenAI website. But like they let me do it, so they let anybody do it. You know what I'm saying? And you just sign up. It's free. You get I think you get 18 free dollars worth of credit, and I haven't even used all my free credits yet. So anyway,
no, that's super cool. It's funny like. We talk about programming a lot, but it's fun to see you doing it, Mike, right? Like that's this whole thing is like, we're talking about the world of doing it, but like just seeing a project like that, it's exciting. I want to like play around with that, or I don't know. I got to start buying some components. Like we talked about that as well. I got to start buying some of the stuff and trying it out, not just living in the software side.
I don't know. It depends. Because I've got a bunch of stuff sitting around. Let me call it. I'll even go as far as a bunch of crap sitting around. I should say it's all on my good intentions shelf. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we all have those.
Intentions shelf. It's kind of like my bookshelf too. Oh my gosh, I've got so many books on my good intentions shelf.
You told me you order a book a week, Mike. That means that you buy a book, you read a book a week too, right? That's what that means if you're buying a book a week.
Right. Oh man, I wish I could read a book a week. I would try. I don't know. I like reading, but
I'm getting distracted. My Alexa is talking to me because someone's trying to call me. For some reason, my Alexa is telling me I'm getting a call. But somebody mentioned that basically what you're doing is like a form of Alexa, like you're using. Like, because eventually you're hoping that you can speak to that and you don't even have to type it out, or that's like a version of your project, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing when because we were, a couple of us were talking about what we wanted to, we wanted to do something with ChatGPT that'd be fun with Arduino and just kind of make it accessible to anybody who wants to use. So I'll be publishing this project on the channel for sure and on the website and that type of stuff once it's kind of more put together. But because it is working, but some of the code, man, I'm just like, I'm a little embarrassed about, like, hey, you've done it too, probably written something. You're like, oh man, this is sort of
Right.
you know, but
I think
just trying to make
that's
it work.
important to show. Yeah, no one's doing this perfectly. Like I think it's important to see
I know.
the
Well, it
process,
is
right?
on
Like that's
GitHub. So if somebody wants to go to the Programming Electronics Academy GitHub, I think it is public. So you can look there and you can
there
make
you
mean
go.
comments and be like, OMG, that's what you wrote. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, blame it on ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
There we go. And it's funny, I feel like I should have. There were some things I ran into on this, man, that were really. Oh, this is one thing I wanted to bring up, dude. You know how some people say they're classically trained in like instruments, or like, oh, I
Yeah.
was a classically trained guitar player.
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
classically trained in artistry, which I admire. You know what I mean? Like I'm impressed. Like when somebody tells me that, I'm always impressed. I met this artist once who was classically trained, and like his stuff was so like, you know what I mean? It's like anyway. But I was
Yeah.
thinking, like, I've been classically trained in making mistakes because
Wow.
dude, I was using this one library for this. It's called Arduino JSON, and
Mhm.
I kept having these errors. I'm like, what is going on? What am I doing wrong? I just kept getting this error over and over, didn't understand it. Uh and
Mhm.
um and then I'm reading on the website, the documentation, and they're like, a classic error people make is da da da.
A
And like that's
classic.
exactly what I am. Like, oh great. Yeah, I'm just making that classic error. I do that all the time, man. I make class just like
You're going to school for errors and you're getting the classic education, every single mistake along the way.
dude, I know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
How I describe like being in a band, there's, plenty of people who you meet who have done the classical route. And I did some classical piano, but like nothing crazy. To me, that just means I learned all the rules about the thing. Like I know some classical musicians who really don't know the heart of the music, or at least I'm not moved by what they're doing. It's just interesting, like, yeah, I don't know, to tie into what you're saying, like you learn how to break how you like do everything wrong. So eventually you can do it right, right? You make all the mistakes and
Oh,
then
right,
eventually,
right, right. Yeah, you figure out all
yeah,
the wrong ways to do it until you eventually get to a
exactly.
right way. Yeah. I don't
Yep.
know, man. I but um what was what did Robert made a point about, he asked about how do you parse the message back? Does it come in JSON?
Yeah.
Yes.
You mentioned
Okay,
JSON,
so
so I just wanted to bring this up. Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's like right on point. Because when you get the message back, it is in JSON. And for anybody wondering what the heck JSON is, it's JavaScript object notation is what that stands for. And it is basically a way of organizing data in a hierarchical fashion so that like
Mhm.
you can have like a standard way of communicating back and forth. So like like let's say you want to send information from one program to another and you want it to be organized in a certain way, and then you want the other end to know how it's gonna like be structured essentially. J On the web they use JSON. It's just like JSON is super common. XML is another
Yeah.
one. Anyway, so it does come in JSON, and I know we talked about JSON a little bit last week too. I know we mentioned it, so I don't want to belabor it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
No worries.
there's a library called Arduino JSON, and it allows you to kind of like deserialize the JSON in a semi-easy way. And that's what I did. So I was able to parse the response using this JSON library. I deserialized it. You can also serialize stuff. Like it's actually a really neat library. It's got a lot going on. I feel like actually there's a lot more I want to learn about it. But anyway, yeah,
I'm
so you
I'm
have to.
trying to pretend like I know what serialize would mean, but I can't come up with deserialize something.
Yeah. Okay. So serial, when you talk about like a serial port or a US, okay. So yeah. So serial is one after another. So
Yes,
one
a
after another.
series.
That's like
Yeah. Yep.
literally one at a time. Like a one, like if I had a bucket of apples and I handed you one apple at a time,
Yep.
then
Like,
that would be serial. If I gave you two apples at a time, that would be in parallel. I'm
yeah.
giving you two apples at the same time, or if I gave you eight apples at the same time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Serial.
I'm thinking like serial monitor in the sense that it's printing it incrementally, like as it comes down. Like or however you'd say that. It's the serial monitor, right? It's like giving you
well, okay, no, this is a great question, man, because the serial monitor is showing stuff from your serial port. Okay, so here we go. All right, so you've probably heard of USB, right? Universal USB. Universal serial. Gosh, what's the B stand for? Somebody help me out here.
Boat.
Yeah, universal serial boat. USB.
The lag in the chat is like 5 seconds, so everyone's just typing it out right now. We're just like,
yeah, I know. I'm in it. Bus. Oh my gosh! Somebody reach out and smack me.
It's not a boat. It's a bus.
Yep. It's a bus. Hey, not a boat. Hey, that was close though.
Actually,
it was like one of those buses in cities, that they drive into the water and then they fly. Like those duck boats. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Anyway, that's what you're talking about. I can't. Anyway.
Here they all come in. Bus.
Universal serial bus, right? So serial ports are sending one thing at a time, right? Yep. And then like the serial monitor on your Arduino is taking all those things that are coming in one at a time, and then like displaying it on your in the port. So anyway, how did we start talking about serial, man? I don't remember.
Well, I was curious because you said deserialize.
Oh yeah, okay. So here's the deal. If so then let's say you've got a bunch of different things that you want to send over, like a bunch of information that you want to send over an API. Okay, so let me give you an example. With this ChatGPT API, you need to send in serial duck. Nice. You need to send in you got to send it the name of the model that you want to use. You need to send it the question, like the actual text question. And then you need to send it the number of tokens that you want to get back. And a token is roughly like basically telling it, hey, how many words do you want to allow for the response? Is roughly what tokens works out to. Not exactly, but somewhere in there. Okay, so you have to send those 3 bits of information, right? But you don't want to so you've got these 3 bits of information, right? And you need to like serialize them into the JSON. You know what I mean? So it takes one, takes another, adds it to the JSON like object essentially, and then sends it off. So that's what it means to serialize it. So I've got these 3 separate things, and then I'm going to put them one after another and then send it off.
But you could deserialize them?
Because the deserializing is like, okay, so then you get the JSON string. I mean, the JSON library talks about serializing and deserializing. I feel like parsing is a better example. Parsing is a more familiar term perhaps, but anyway, you're taking that JSON string and then you're extracting from it each of those specific one. They call it deserializing in that library, but anyway.
No, that's what we're here to do. That's interesting. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Hey, somebody was asking, link to developer site on OpenAI. Let me see here. Okay, if you go to actually, I think here, you want to share my screen real quick? Or actually, I probably need to. Let me share it. I can.
I'm not seeing that question, but I'll try to find it.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. It was let me find somebody had that question. Oh, there we go. I'll show it. I forget how easy it is to show. I can't pronounce that name, but
link to developer site on OpenAI, please.
Yeah. Let me just do a quick present here. Share screen. I should have done this before. My bad. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, yeah. So so this is like it's just OpenAI. OpenAI. If you just go to openai.com, oops, that's let's see. openai.com. Okay, so here's OpenAI, and then if you go to there's a link for API. I think if you go to API, yeah, there we go. So just go to openai.com here. I'll paste it in the chat. openai.com, and then they've got an API link, and it'll take you to the developer. You can like sign up for a developer account. So, and very low, like anybody can do it. So it was easy too.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
We had a video come out today. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, sure, man. You want to share your screen? Did you have the video up?
I do. We're kind of testing something out here at Programming Electronics Academy, just doing some board reviews. Like obviously we've been using these boards for a while. Mike, we have plenty of videos with various boards, but we've been trying to put out more like reviews of the boards, or maybe overviews of the boards
Yeah,
is
I
a
think
better word.
overviews.
Yeah, because we're not like critiquing them per se. We're just talking about them. But today's is on Mega, and we're wondering if it's the cowbell of Arduino. So little pop culture reference in there, but I don't know. What did you think about making this video, Mike? You've used Omega countless times, right?
Yeah, actually, I haven't used the Mega a ton. I've used it. I've used it, I guess, enough because honestly, like, and what I mentioned in the video is that what I mentioned in the video is a lot of people go for when they're trying to figure out what board they want to get. Sometimes they'll just get a Mega because it's got more,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I have found like a lot of the projects I work on, I'm really like the Uno seems to do it for me as far as like the input output I need. But you can see like there's the Mega right there. It's just got so much IO on it. So if you have something that needs like a ton of IO, it's like a really great board. There's a bunch of other stuff that we talk about about the boards. You know what I mean? Like it's got more memory, all different types of memory. It's got more analog pins, it's got a lot more stuff going. It's got like 4 UARTs on it. So like, we said we had 1 serial port. It's got 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is it 4 or 3? It's 3 or 4. I can't remember.
4, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So I don't know. This video, we're like, I don't know. It was interesting. It's definitely, we put a lot of production effort into it, probably more than most.
Yeah.
We also did one on the nanos, like
Mhm.
nano boards. So if you're interested about Arduino nanos, we also have a video on nanos and stuff like that. Hey, it's at the end of that video. So if you want to see that, you can just kind of watch them all right there. But
Yeah. I'm gonna put a link to this video in the description for anyone who's curious.
okay.
It'll also be in the chat here. But
Sweet.
yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Hey, before we go, do you want to talk about one of the like a student project real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. I kind of jumped the gun on that. Let's
Oh, no worries.
share my screen. So just for people who don't have the context, this is just at the Academy, the Programming Electronics Academy. A bunch of different customers have made projects. These are like student projects, and they've posted them. I don't know if they just like email them to you and then you kind of make a post about it, but it's really cool.
Yeah,
like,
we got like a
so
whole
many
form
projects.
or whatever. People fill out a form and submit stuff. And
Okay.
yeah.
So we can check out any of these. We've looked at the Skittles, the light sensor one. Anyone that's popping out to you today?
Let's do the where was the you know what, well, I always love ones with videos, but I don't know if we'll do a video one. If you want to scroll up a little bit, there's one. Okay, right clock. Okay, I'm sorry, down clock stop. See that one? Okay, yeah. So this one is this one, I don't know if that video talks about it or not. I'm not sure. Okay, what I like about this project is that this gentleman who made this project, he works on clocks. Like that's his vocation, I think, is he fix people's clocks and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so he knows a bunch about clocks, and he fixes like old, like those old school clocks that do, what do you call those clocks?
And analog or like the ones with like
No, grandfather clocks is what I'm trying to
yeah.
say. Yeah, right. I think okay, so either this or I'm just totally making up what I just said. Hopefully I'm not. I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember the specifics of the project, but he needed, like, timing is extremely important of that pendulum or whatever, and he needed a way to like figure out some of the timing or something like that. So he designed this tool that he could use to like, read this stuff. And that's what he did. And I really like this because it's such a unique application. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. And anyway, he was able to kind of like
this, I'm seeing like a screen here that just somehow counting it, or I'm imagining what you're saying is like the precision of the timing on a clock is pretty much the whole point, right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
if you this is Oh, it's like reading. I wonder if you can like calibrate it if you need to or something.
Yeah, in fact, I wonder if that's what he did here. You know what it might have been? Maybe that's what he was doing here. Man, I should have reviewed this project first. Now I feel dumb. Okay. I think this was it. He had a grandfather clock that was old, it was like an heirloom, right? Family heirloom kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make sure he could still use it, but it was missing cycles. And so what he did, so if you notice in that, now it's coming back to me. What he does is he counts actual time, and then like he has a little arm that goes out to hold the pendulum, and then so he can, like, I don't know, add a little bit of time or something like that. You see that arm? So he's basically, when he does that, he's like
cool.
pausing yeah, that's what it was. That's right. But I was like, oh man, that's crazy. So
it's just like disrupting it to make it more accurate. Oh,
that's right.
awesome.
Yes, he was increasing the accuracy of it that way. So anyway, but
That's no. You talked about application. What a cool creative way to take something that means something to you, and in a DIY sense, like, yeah, make it like more useful or whatever. Like taking
extend its life and like, yeah, I mean, do all types of stuff. Like, yeah, this to me, this is like a really awesome use case. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of situations like that, but so
I love it. So yeah, this is done by Bill Bryan.
Yep.
Pretty cool. There's the code here below. So like people who are interested, you can kind of check all this stuff out.
Yeah.
That's
sweet, man. All right. Well, I don't know. I guess we've been there, Ben. It's been an hour hanging out with everybody. This has been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, I really have been appreciating this show. Thanks everyone for tuning in and kind of keeping the conversation going with your comments and your questions. Everyone that joined in today, it's been a blast to do this. So I'm learning lots and having a blast.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. Really appreciate everybody hanging out. We will be here next week, Friday. Pretty sure, right? Yeah, we'll be next week, Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will see everybody then. So everybody, thanks again for showing up. Thanks for man, we just had a ton. We're having a ton of people show up, and a ton of people are watching the replay too, which is really exciting. So I don't know, it makes it that much more fun. Pendulum. Thank you, Stephen. All right, there we go. Correcting me for Gilbert asked, is the show at the same time every Friday? Yes, it is right now, at least. So right now, every Friday, 10:30 a.m. EST. Now, Josh was like, we might change the time at some point. You're right, Josh. Maybe we will. I don't know. But right now, yeah, we're just going to make it. We're just sticking with this time. It's working for both of the schedules. So thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. This is awesome.
Awesome. Let's catch y'all next week.
Thanks. All right. Yeah. See y'all next week. Bye.